Hello everyone, welcome to the Social Research Hub channel. So in today's video I'm going to discuss a research paper titled Social Media Usage Among Rural Youth. So in this video I'm not gonna summarize this paper, but I will also just explain that what is the paper about, how the researchers conducted this study, what tools they used, why they used the specific statistical test, how those tests work, what the findings mean, and when you should use the similar kind of methods in your own research, and also the other things. Okay, so our title is Social Media Usage Among Rural Youth, published in 2023, and journal name it is in there South India Journal of Social Science. So if you are a student of social science, psychology, or if you want to just learn research methodology, you want to publish some papers, so I guarantee you that it's gonna be very helpful for you to start with. Well, discussing about that background of the study, here you can see that in this section some kind of global data the researcher has given. Like globally there is 4.48 billion social media users in July 2021, which is almost 57% of the total global population, and among them 487 million WhatsApp users in India alone. And also the Brazil has increasing that social media users. The time spent is around 2 hours 24 minutes globally. 16 to 64 ages is any device. The total of 144 minute, which is also 1.4% increase from the previous year. So that types, these things are the observation of researchers. So researcher here start with a simple observation. Before going deep dive into that, just simply thanks to Miss PL Rani, who she is the assistant professor of social work, and Dr. G Matilda Bhuvaneshwari. Okay, so here social media usage, according to the researcher observation, researcher observed that social media usage has increased dramatically even in rural areas. So she focused on rural areas, and here she observed that smartphones are affordable, internet penetration you can say that has increased, and youth are highly active online. So she starts with a basic observation, and also she looks out some different concerns like excessive usage, sleep disturbance, academic distraction due to social media usage, dependency, and reduced face-to-face social interaction. Okay, and here the researcher says that most studies focus on urban youth. So the authors wanted to understand that what is happening among rural undergraduate students. So this is the core motivation of paper, कि rural undergraduate student, what is the condition of that, okay, in terms of social media usage. So here you can see that various literature review has been done, and it has been mentioned like Statista researcher puts various types of data in this for using the background information and also for the support of the research and the need of the research. Here as per that structure, introduction and literature review, where different types of literature review has been done, like from National Crime Record Bureau. I just highlighted that if you are preparing something or just want to use some data, so you can pick up that. So that is a very interesting data, where the cases cyber crimes due to social media has been in the 2019 44546 cyber crimes were filed, including 26891 60% cases of online fraud. So you can understand the condition of social media over usage in India, in rural India also, and also other negative impacts like social media on teenagers youth include hacking, identity theft, scams, pornographic materials. So this type of, that is the literature review the researcher has done. Then we'll go into the first see that objectives of the study. The researchers had three main objectives here, which is to study the socio-demographic characteristics, first, then to assess the level of social media usage, and also suggest some suitable measures so that we can control the overuse of social media among the youth. So here the researcher will talk about that research design. The researcher here mainly use the descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics, it means mean, median, mode. Okay, but also researcher has taken the various hypotheses, nine hypotheses the researcher has taken. Like, is there any significant relation between age and overall social media use of respondent, and also gender to social media use, type of family to social media use? These are the variables. So this is the hypothesis the researcher has taken to understand the relationship. And also the number of social media accounts and the overall social media use, the number of hours spending on social media daily, and also the overall social media use, the difference between deviation from academic activities, like due to the social media, is the academic performance is poor, or is going to be poor, and other things. So in terms of academic activities, ignored other responsibilities to social media use, difference between sleep disturbance and social media use, and difference between favorite social media, what is the favorite social media here, and overall the social media use of the respondent. Okay, so here you can see that there is a descriptive research design the researcher has used. What is the meant by descriptive research design? It means no experiment, no manipulation, no intervention. So just measure those variables and analyze is there any relationship or not. Just measuring the relationship. So it is a cross-sectional study. Cross-sectional means that the data has been collected at one point of time. They collected data at one point in time. Okay, so they did not follow the students over months and years, like we are collecting the data in January, then we'll also come and collect the data in February and see the difference. This has not been done. This is a cross-sectional. So a researcher goes to the field at one time and collected data and came back. Okay, so it is called the cross-sectional research design. So sampling technique here, the stratified disproportionate random sampling. What is the meaning of stratified disproportionate random sampling? We'll talk about that. The stratified means is here the population. Here is a different kind of population. It is divided by different strata. Like in one strata, one category there is 3 people, one category there is 4 people, one category there is 6 people. So this is the stratified. And what is the disproportionate? Disproportionate, like I am taking 2, here is I am taking 2, here is I am taking 2. This is not a proportion of 2, like 2 in the 3, 2 from the 3, 2 from the 6, and 2 from the 4. It's not the same, it's not the proportional. So it is called as disproportionate. A random sampling means we are collecting the sample randomly from this group, from this group, and from this group. There is no proper criteria or no proper our purpose. They are just selecting the randomly the sample. Okay, so it is called the random sampling. I hope you are clear. So the sample size, the researcher here is take the 50 college students studying in arts and science. So it is very important how much sample the researcher has taken. Okay, so this is the 50 college students studying in arts and science college in Tiruchirappalli district. So the study has been conducted in India, rural area. So those who can understand the stratified random sampling, here researcher divided students into 5 departments, and from each department they selected 10 students. So 5 into 10, the 50 respondent total sample size. And this ensures that representation from each department. However, there is no limitation. We also call that it can be better in future. The sample size is small, then which we'll discuss later that what we should do. Well, then the tool used here is the category, like in age, in terms of age, in terms of gender, in terms of type of family, in terms of size of the family. Here number of respondent and percentage as given. So this is the basic descriptive statistics as plot in table 1, and also in table 2 smartphone usage, favorite social media. I like YouTube and Instagram. Here is that more percentage, like 56 percentage, okay, among 28. So it is a different category and different data has been taken, and level of social media usage and respondents. So here you can question if after seeing this, that level low, high, number of respondent 27, 23 and percentage, right? So here you can question that how this social media usage of the respondent has been calculated, right? So how it is calculated? Well, discuss about that. The researcher here used one tool, okay? The tool is social media usage inventory, which is called SMUI. The psychological students, we will better relate to this, right? So this is a standardized inventory developed by Ms. Dr. Savita Gupta and colleagues. So the scoring comes from the inventory manual. The social media usage inventory, that is SMUI, consists of multiple statements about social media behavior, and like different types of categories, like the sleeping distance and other parameters, and responded answered in this variable on Likert type scale, like 1 to 5. So it is very strong, so 5. It is very low to 1. So that is the rating has been given by the respondent, or always, or often, or sometimes, or rarely, or never. This type of score has been given, like always is indicated as 5, often is indicated as 4, sometimes is indicated as 3, 2 is for rarely, and 1 is for never. That is the scale that researcher has used to collect those data, and after collects that data, each item given a score, right? So all item score are added together. All item scores that has been collected from the respondents are added together, and a total score is obtained, okay, from those scores. And then this total score compared with cutoff ranges provided in the tool. So here is that tool where it is the total score is compared with the tool, and total usage scores, like sum of all item scores. So they compare with that inventory, and finding that those scores falling within the lower range, it is called as a low usage. Those scores above a certain cutoff that is mentioned in the tool, it is called in a high usage. So I hope you understand this. You got this key, how researcher is used these things, these parameters, it is low and high, and here is the data has been given and percentage has been given. So you can look into this, then we will go forward and discuss the other things. Well, so before going with the Carl Pearson correlation test, here I can tell you about that. Here researcher used two tools mainly, which is self-prepared questionnaire. It is only for demographic details, okay. The second one is SMUI. It has been discussed earlier. There is a tool which compared with the total scores and determine it is in a low usage or in a high usage. So what is the tool measures? Tool measures the frequency of usage, behavioral engagement. It includes everything, stress and all that, and overall usage intensity. Okay, so each item has option like always, often, as I said, and they sum the scores and identified that low and high. So before going to that Carl Pearson correlation test, I just want to tell you that researcher here used mainly 3 statistical tests. One is Carl Pearson correlation, other one is t-test, where you can see, and the ANOVA. So we will discuss about that. What is Karl Pearson correlation? When we will use that Karl Pearson, when we will use that t-test, and when we would use that ANOVA. Okay. So first talking about that Karl Pearson. Karl Pearson correlation is mainly used for measure the relationship between two numerical variables. Like, is there any category age? The value has been corrected numerically, right? So, and also the overall social media use. There the score has been given. So it is numerical. So when you compare the relationship between two numerical variables, then we use preferably Karl Pearson correlation test. Just understand this. Like for an example, if the number of hours increases, does usage score increases? So here is the, if there is no age, if it's the number of hours, though we can use that correlation. Here in the correlation value ranges from -1 to +1, and if it is +1, it means there is a strong positive relationship. I think we know that what is the strong positive relationship. Like if the number of hours increase, the overall social media usage will be increased. So it is a very strong positive relationship. And it is, if 0, then it is no relationship, and if it is -1, it is strong negative relationship. If one increases, then other one will decrease. So with that time we use that Karl Pearson correlation test. So the researcher used this state when both variable were continuous variable, I mean numerical variable. Then t-test. In t-test, like you can see the gender, mean, that is very important thing, standard deviation, standard error mean, and t-value. So the t-test is used when we just want to compare the average score or mean between two groups. Okay, when there is two groups and we just want to compare those means, when then that time we will use the t-test. If it is 3, then t-test will not be used. What we will use in that time we will discuss later, but just understand, when there is two groups and we just want to compare the mean, we will use the t-test. Like, is the average social media usage score, here just once again, here the average social media usage score, has been any difference, are there any difference between male and female? So here we can find that 80.50 and 75.92. So here we can differentiate the male female. Okay, so gender has two categories, like male female. So here the t-test is appropriate. Researcher actually used it to check whether there is any significant difference between those two groups in terms of social media usage. So here is also t-test, like it is joint family and nuclear family. You can understand that there is two groups. So here this compare the mean. Is there any difference between social media usage? So here is t-test has considered same kind of these things, yes and no, two groups. And also own mobile phone, the number of people who own mobile phone, so yes and no, and also comparing the mean. So here is the t-test is used. Then come to that one-way variance of analysis between favorite social media and overall social media use of the respondent. Okay, so I'm not discussing that much when just discussing the paper. We will see the findings at the end, what the research paper says. So it is just for your knowledge, just for your other paper writing. Just my objective is to understand that how the paper has written, the researcher, and what is the usage of those tests. So you will be able to use those tests in your research, when you are doing to, or in anything. It will help you to clear understand, it will give you a clear picture of those tests. Okay, so let's talk about that one-way variance of analysis, that is one-way ANOVA. I hope you heard about that term, you heard about that test. Okay, so here, as I said, if we are comparing two groups, then we will use the t-test. But when there is more than two groups, like more than three and three more groups, so that time we will use ANOVA. Okay, so If there are 3 or more groups, then ANOVA is used instead of t-test. Same way, here is that you can see that favorite social media site. Here is that YouTube is there, WhatsApp is there, TikTok, Insta, every various categories, right? There is no two categories. So here, that's why one way ANOVA has been used. So that I have as discussed the Carl Pearson coefficient, where the overall social media usage. I'm not going into deep into the data part, but let's talk about the discussion and key findings. So what are the key findings from that research paper? That here the researcher said कि 92% who owned their own smartphone. So that is the data. Instagram is more preferable social media. 54% said कि there is a low usage in social media, and 46% said high usage. It found that 46% of the total population from the sample is high usage in social media. And from those statistical tests, that it is found that no significant relationship between age and usage, and gender and usage. Like, if for giving a small understanding, just I'm going to back to those data. Here you can understand that male female, this is not too much varied, right? So here is no relationship between gender and social media usage. So that's why the researcher said ki there is no relationship, significant relationship between gender and usage. Same, there is no relationship between family type and usage. There is no relationship between hours spent on social media and usage of social media, and there is no significant relationship between number of accounts, that how many social media accounts you have, and usage. But the researcher found there is a no relationship, right? But the researcher found the relationship between sleep disturbance versus social media usage. Here I am denoting it is SM usage, and owning a mobile phone and usage. Okay, so this means student with sleep problems showed higher social media usage. Like those students who use social media very high, they have the sleep problems in their daily life. So here the some suggestion and recommendation are there. So researcher gives the suggestion for the future research. Like if you want to do research on that topic, so you can consider those suggestion that researcher has mentioned, and also the recommendation of what can you use to mitigate those problems. First, the youth can be grouped. Those youth that is taking from that sampling, stratified disproportionate sampling, they can be grouped separately, plan activities to control the media usage behavior pattern, and also they can set a time limit on usage on different social media. How that we mostly use ki we set a timer that I will use that time in YouTube, that much of time in WhatsApp. So researcher said ki you can set a time, and also they can have a regular weekend detox for a few hours, just sit silently, no social media, so it will work as a detoxification. Then negative effects of overuse of social media should explain in detail with them, like parental supervision is necessary. Parents should be sensitized that about what are the consequences of high levels of social media usage, especially cyberbullying, loneliness, low self-esteem, low mental health, etc. Then students can be involved in extracurricular activities, so it plays actually a very important role in their lives and futures. So it will divert their concentration from social media sites to those extracurricular activities, and also give awareness, educate youth on ill effect, what are the ill effects of social media, like such a you will have a problem in lack of sleep, depression, stress, lack of academic performance, etc. And digital detoxification training can be given in. So you understand, I think, what is mean by digital detoxification training. So given in educational institution by the trained professionals. So if you are talking about that, before going to the conclusion, if you are doing the study, just imagine that you are doing the study. So what you can do better? First, you can increase the sample, increase the sample. We can say there is only 50 samples, so more samples could have taken. And also it data has been collected from a single college, right? So if you are going to do the same research, then you can visit to the various type of colleges. And also it is in a self reported data. So in case of self reported data, right, I am sending you in a questionnaire to you, and I said ki fill that questionnaire. So here sometimes the question is about the Likert scale, like sometimes always that has discussed 1 to 5. Sometimes people are confused and they choose the middle option, so that act as a bias. So if you can use the different types of data collection method, and for mental health measurement, that how much it affecting the mental health, so you can use the mental health scale here. And as I said, this is a cross sectional design. If you can use the different types of apart from the cross sectional like longitudinal and all that, so it will be more beneficial. So you that actually you can do in your research, if you want to do your research on that topic. So here researcher didn't say about that, because the researcher used the statistical test, so it's not act as a causation. Just researchers said ki they are associated, like sleep disturbance and social media has a relationship, has a significant relationship, but researcher is not telling ki due to social media usage the sleep disturbance is happening among you. So right, so we cannot say that social media causes sleep disturbance, because the researcher here not determines the causation. Here is researchers only determines the relationship. So we can say that instead of that, there is a positive relationship between social media usage and sleep disturbance. So just recall that test key when we'll use the Pearson correlation, when the both variables are continuous or numerical, when you will use the t-test, that one variable has two groups like gender, male, female, then and other is numerical like social media usage, then we will use the t-test. And when you will use ANOVA, like one variable like which platform you like the most, there is various groups, groups like YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook. So in that case we will use one way ANOVA. Okay, so this test show association or is there any difference or not, but not causation. So this paper is very useful for understanding usage pattern among rural youth. It gives insight into behavior and sleep disturbance. However, it lacks kind of different, it can be better for, as I discussed, large sample size, longitudinal design. So it is a good descriptive study, but it's not considered as a strong psychological causal study, because it doesn't determine the causation. So here is the part, and this is the reference part. Here you can define use MLA and APA. Okay, so I hope this video is very helpful. You find this video very helpful, and if you are then please like and subscribe this channel. If you want me to analyze another research paper, so please comment in the comment box. I will analyze another research paper in detailed manner and coming to the next video. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. from the next video.